Comic fam, good to see ya. We're gonna be doing a giveaway at the end of the video, so stay tuned to the end so you get a chance to win it. Back in action, Russ. How you feeling?
I am fantastic. I want to wish a happy Father's Day to every single dad out there, and the best way to geek responsibly is pass it on to your kids. Absolutely. Do the good dad thing.
Comic fam, we do this video every single week. We're talking about the hottest comic books that are trending in the market that the community is buying aggressively so that you know what's going on in this very, very busy comic community.
Oh, yeah.
Comic fam, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button. We make this list every single week of the hottest trending comic books in the comic book community.
You know what, Tom? When I saw the list this week, it was crazy. It made me want to go back to my store and dig through my own dollar bins. These specs are the comics that we've been talking about for a while, and I can tell you that while I was surprised at every single one of them, I also knew what every single one of these books were. It is crazy how much this market moves.
Slap the like button and let's chat about some Daredevil spec. What, we got Vigil on here? No. We're talking about Daredevil issue number 9 from the 1998 series after some casting announcements were made.
Daredevil number 9 from the 1998 series introduces a new character named Echo, who is a deaf Native American character. Well, there was a casting call for a deaf Native American actor. Tom, you want to read us through that?
Yeah, this popped up on social media, and this is what the casting was requesting for a character named Malia. All right, it says here, Seraphin Casting Company seeks a deaf Native American / indigenous female for the role for an upcoming Disney Plus television show. Now, I'll remind you, Seraphin Casting has done casting. They're giant. They've done casting for Mandalorian, Avengers, and they're looking for someone for Disney Plus. Here's the thing. We have been unable to authenticate this casting call. And at the bottom, there's an email that says mail submissions to sarahfinco.com. Here's the thing. If you look up sarahfinco.com, that is not their actual website. So that kind of puts a cog in this wheel here.
Yeah, no, this is really, really interesting because it could be fake, it could be real, we're not quite certain, but you also need to keep in mind that there is a Star Wars character named Malia, and since Seraphin has done casting for Mandalorian, you may very well have them looking for another character. But Marvel Universe, Daredevil, Echo, Deaf. I mean, there aren't that many deaf characters.
Very few.
Even the casting call is talking about how part of the audition is going to be in ASL, in sign language. So keep that in mind.
$12 average sales, an increase of copies sold of 575%. Dude, there's highs at $175 at 9.8. That's a very big difference from a near mint raw copy to a 9.8.
Oh, absolutely.
Number 9 on the list, we have one of my OG favorite characters from 1993 making his debut. We have Static issue number 1. And we've chatted about this character before.
We have.
Dude, he's had screen time. He has been a member of Young Justice. He has been a member of the Teen Titans. Heck, Tim Drake has even said that his understanding of molecular molecules rivals the freaking Flash, and there may be a revival.
Now, this is super, super cool. And for those of you that don't know a whole lot about it, Milestone Comics was the brainchild of Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis McCowan, Michael Davis, and Derek Dingle. Now, these gentlemen wanted to make more African-American characters and even like an African-American world within the DC Comics world. So Milestone Comics came out with Blood Syndicate and Zombie and Static and a few other characters. And this is just a fantastic thing that was happening at this point in time. But Static is back and popular.
Shout out to the late Dwayne McDuffie, a legend. And this book has multiple variants, and they're going all over the place, are they not?
Oh, they absolutely are. You have to keep in mind that there is the normal one that is a blue polybagged variant. There is the non-polybagged variant with the same art as the polybagged variant. There's the non-polybagged variant with the same art as the polybagged variant with platinum lettering. And then there's a newsstand variant that has a blue background with an entirely different picture. So 4 different copies of Static number 1 that you need to be looking for.
So we're putting issue number 1 raw at 9.8 on the list because we're seeing a high of $125 for it. But that book goes on average for only $15. And as you mentioned, we have one in the bag. We have a platinum edition. We have a newsstand edition that's worth specking on. And this is a great character, man. They did what other publishers were really unable to do, which was create a world that kind of was similar to Marvel, but have a character like Static take on problems in the home, dealing with his parents, dealing with school, dealing with the fact that he's so smart, but also super powerful, dealing with superhero problems with friends and enemies that he surrounds himself in his day-to-day life. Who does that sound like?
It sounds a lot like Peter Parker, who came before him, but at the same point in time, it sounds a whole lot like Miles Morales, who came after him. So very, very interesting that we have a DC minority character here who's getting a whole lot of buzz around about the same time we're getting a lot of Miles buzz.
Number 8 on the list. Oh my gosh, I've been watching this series. I've read the first few issues and I gotta just like get the entire trade and catch up because James Tynion, the fourth, is killing it. We have Something is Killing the Children, issue number 1.
Something's Killing the Children is a fantastic book that people have been digging. We know it's been optioned for a while now, and James Tynion even came out with his newsletter and said he's been having a bunch of very top secret conversations in the past few weeks. Now, Boom signed a first look deal with Netflix a while ago, and this is a prime candidate to be able to end up there.
Seeing some pretty big gains. $25 average sales for a first print seems right for an option book, but when we saw a $150 sale at 9.8, yeah, that means it's moving and the community's paying attention.
It absolutely is, and you have to keep on the lookout for some fantastic Jenny Frison variant covers. There are a lot of secret variants. There are variants that are one per store variants. There are variants that are final order cutoff variants that unless your shop was on top of the final order cutoff, they didn't get any copies. So all the way through the last issue, which came out, I think, even last week, there have been extra special variants. So if you're a variant fan, go grab these. They're going to be out there.
Boom is known to take care of the collector's market. They understand what we want. And shout out to Arun because they know what they're doing over there, putting out some dope comics and some dope variants. Number 7 on the list, we have a book that I had to go and reread. It's been like a decade since I read issue 1. Jim Zub Goodness. Option news for this title. This comic is a lot of fun. It's like funny books at its best. Big creatures, werewolves, vampires, and 2 mercenaries that are not going to let any of them get in their way of doing their job. This book is hitting a high sale at 9.8 at $80. But we're seeing an average sale of only $3 for this comic book after option news this week. But here's the thing. I am very, very closely watching this issue and this series because something else happened this week. And it's a little too coincidental that both things happened within days of each other. And I'm talking about Rick and Morty creator Dan Harmon signing a deal with Fox for an adult animation cartoon.
So keep in mind that Dan Harmon works on Rick and Morty, but he also worked on Community with the Russo brothers. Dan Harmon can do more grounded comedy. When you look at the Justin Roiland stuff, you get Solar Opposites, which has moments, but it's so off the rails. A lot of the times when you've got like a comedy duo or a writing duo, if you have kind of a straight man and a funny man, they work well together. Understand that Dan Harmon does have the ability to work with many, many people, whereas Roiland's off in the atmosphere.
That's right. It matters who could be part of this potential show that we may see hit. And I'm watching this because of that.
And that Skull Kickers did have an 1,800% increase in copies sold last week.
Huge, man. What's that number 6?
Number 6 on the list, we have Descender number 1, some Jeff Lemire goodness. Now, for those of you who have been following the series since the beginning, well, Sony optioned it before it was released, and then their option lapsed. But it's been picked up again by Lark Productions. Now, a lot of the things that were optioned in the 2012, 2013, 2014 years have lapsed by now, and some of those things are never going to get made. This actually shows that there's a company that's still interested in this. Accordingly, number 1 has spiked to a $20 average raw sale, and we saw a graded 9.8 for cover A, $300 in this book.
Staggering gains for this android living in a world that he doesn't belong in. Keep an eye out for Ascender, the sequel to this run, not really being spec'd on, but because it's affiliated, these are the 2 issues that you got to be watching.
They absolutely are. And you have to also keep in mind that there are a ton of variants for this book. My favorite happens to be the Emerald City Comic Dungeon Rest in Peace variant. That shop just closed, but they had a variant that were supposedly 1,200 copies, and then 300 of them were damaged, and not all of them made it to Emerald City. So we're looking at fewer than 900 actual copies, and as Tom has mentioned many times before, Nguyen and Lemire were both at the show. So you're going to see a lot of people who had those books signed. So finding a raw copy of the Comic Dungeon Emerald City variant is just going to be ridiculously tough right now.
I'm looking at the variant at 9.8, and they're being listed for $800 because they were around the $500 print mark. So this is very important information, especially considering that it may be difficult to find raw copies unsigned. And dude, people, what do they do with those comics when they're at the show?
Oh, they're going to throw them in their bag. They're going to roll them up. They're not going to take care of them. And most people aren't carrying around raw bags and boards or your comic store folio like you should be.
Number 5 on the list, we got, damn it, something that's taken way too long. Like I'm getting, like I saw it. I saw the news. I got chills. To be real, dude, I got chills. I'm like, oh my gosh. Is it going to happen? Is this actually going to happen? Invincible #1. Robert Kirkman goodness. This should have been a movie. This should have been a show a decade ago.
You're such a fan of Invincible. I'm shocked you don't have an Invincible tattoo, Tom.
That's true, man. One of the first books that I bought from Russ was a graded Invincible comic. He used that book to make an excuse to come over to sell it and then bring an extra short box to have me go through. And you end up selling me a bunch of other crap. That's a true dealer right here.
Right.
But Kirkman, he went on to Cartoonist Kayfabe's YouTube channel. Shout out Ed Piscor. And you know they'd be asking him about Invincible. They want to get the scoop. And he went on to say that there is a trailer coming. Like they're going to drop a very violent cartoon. That's a quote from him. Very soon. And we're going to see a first look. When that hits, these numbers are going to move even farther than they already have. And we're already looking at right now a report of an increase of 500% in copies sold for a book that average sale goes for $300. And at 9.8, is seeing a $1,200 mark.
Well, you have to keep in mind on this one that the print run is just over 10,000 for #1, but just over 8,000 for #2. And those print actually get lower. So up until number 13,
yeah, dude.
You're actually decreasing the number of copies. So they are very scarce to get these low number books for Invincible.
It's making me feel like we may have another Spawn situation on our hands. It may take some time for that to happen, but there's not that many keys in this run. And the print count is really where the spec lies. So I encourage the community to read this comic book. So good. But also, take a look at what you may be able to collect, because a lot of people collected this just to read it. It's hard to get these in high grade.
Oh, it really, really is.
Number 4 on the list, sincerely surprised, my brother. Did not think that I would be interested in watching this show, but after the Netflix trailer dropped, it's going to be better than the damn comic book. We got Warrior Nun, Aurelia, issue #1.
Oh my gosh, that's right, Tom. Now, true story here. Tom said, Russ, you need to watch this trailer. And I'm like, I'm not really interested. Like, no, watch it. So I sit down and I'm so excited. Now, Ben Dunn is a fantastic comic book artist, and I like Ninja High School, and he helped bring the Marvel characters into the Marvel mangaverse. So we had manga versions of all the Marvel characters. I mean, Ben Dunn's been around and doing it for a while, but Warrior Nun Aurelia has never floated my boat. This looks awesome and is selling so incredibly well. So it's a 267% increase, but you're looking raws at $20, and we have a 9.8 high of $130 for this book. Warrior Nun Aurelia is spiking hard.
An interesting narrative, man. This is a non-believer who dies, gets resurrected by the church to join a group of mercenaries, fighters, a group of nuns.
She becomes one of God's strongest warriors. They give her the halo. They brand her with the halo. She's got these superpowers, and it's just so interesting. She is kicking ass and taking names in this trailer, and I'm super excited.
Number 3 on the list, we got Doom Patrol making the list. Brendan Fraser, Grant Morrison. Goodness, I just put both of them in the same phrase. I love it. All right, we have multiple books that we're going to talk about right now, because there's a number of characters that are now being heavily spec'd upon after the trailer dropped. We got this show coming really soon, and the fact that it's going to HBO Max means that there's going to be way more eyes on it, given spec reason for so many collectors. So let's go through some of the appearances that we know is coming because we saw the trailer, and let's talk about some of these average prices, because they be really, really cheap.
They really, really are. So issue number 23, First Red Jack, is selling for $3 on average.
Issue number 48, we're seeing the first appearance of the Sex Men. Yeah, it's a police officer group that manages the universe's sex crimes. This story gets freaking wacky and I love it. We also have issue number 57 going for $8 averages as we see the antagonist of this series for the first time. We got the Candlemaker make an appearance.
That is crazy. And the first appearance of the Sex-Men is only $5. So again, you could pick up all 3 of these books for less than $10. And when it moves to HBO Max, way more eyes on them.
Number 2 on this list. Slap the like button, comic fan. We need your support. And it'll also enter you to win a giveaway at the end of the show by just commenting on this video, letting us know what you think about this list. Do you own any of this books? Because I think that if you have been collecting Miles Morales, the next ones on this list are ones that may be in your back issue bin.
Oh, absolutely. This is the type of thing that when I heard that Spider-Man number 12, Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy's first kiss, made this list and is going for $25 or more raw and $60 graded, I immediately said, Tom, dude, I just threw 3 of those in my 50-cent bin. Like, this is the type of thing that it's just a book that, yes, it's Miles Morales, but because of what happened with the video game, all of his books are spiking. You don't have to buy a UF4 right now. There are lots of other fantastic Miles Morales books you can get in on.
Yeah, Miles is like talking to Gwen Stacy at the end of issue 11 about how his dad is missing. And we start out issue 12 with this full page shot of them embracing for the first time and sharing a kiss. During a very stressful situation, they have something, a connection that the community sees is worth speculating on.
Right.
It's a major moment in this character's life. And we know that both of these members of the Marvel Universe are diehard collector favorites.
Before we hit number 1 this week, if you want to support our show, you should sign up for the Mystery Mail Call. It's our way to send out monthly comics to every single one of you. And you know what? We have an exclusive going in every month, and this month we have Empire number 1 with the John Tyler Christopher propaganda cover. This is fantastically cool, and you already loved his banana variant, so this is a great one to get in on. Only available in the mail call this month.
Hit the description, join the community, and let's just chat about number 1 on the list, because we have a very, very important thing that as a community we need to recognize, because something here is special. All right, something here that happened is very different. We're putting Spider-Man issue number 1, the hip-hop Miles Morales variant, right here at the list at number 1. We're seeing substantial gains, 1,533% increase in copies sold in 7 days. This book took off. It was going for under $50 at one point, moving up to an average of $180. We're seeing a 9.8 sale hit, a staggering $600 this week, because Miles Morales just became the spec of the year.
Now, this is awesome. I love this cover. It's Miles Morales as the Illmatic by Nas album.
Great album,
It
dude.
really, really is, but something that people need to keep in mind is that Marvel actually did 3 waves of the hip-hop variants, and they changed how you could order them for each of those waves. This one was from the first wave. The first wave were percentage-based, so you needed to order between 250 and 350 of a previous order to even be available to order any of these, whereas later hip-hop variants were open to order. So not all hip-hop variants are easy to get. This one is one of the really, really tough ones. So again, keep looking for it. This one is a great book, and it's amazing to see it where it is right now.
This is a time as a community where we need to recognize that this is what it's about. Speculation, putting money into characters over others. We just reported on a book that was kind of spec-worthy before that is now a major key book in his life. That happened in a week, man.
Yep.
So this is what we have to recognize, because we have members of the community seeing for the first time. We have a lot of new members feeling like this may be crazy. Like, what's going on? Every once in a while, sometimes every couple of years, something like this happens. And this is what the collectors are waiting for. This is what speculation is all about. You're seeing dozens of Miles Morales covers spiking, and they're spiking to such an extent that I don't see them taking a hit like some of these other comics that tend to, cool down over time. No, these are individuals buying comics for the long haul.
They really, really are. But I just want to throw in the other side of the speculator coin.
Please do.
Make sure that you're buying what you love, because these are bubbles. Not all of them. Some of them go up, some of them stay up. But my recommendation for everyone is always collect what you love, and you're gonna love your collection. This is a big thing. Now, if you do want to have a good app to be able to use, pick up Key Collector, go to keycollector.com, download it from the App Store, and use code TOM101. This will keep you up to date on what all of these books are doing and let you know ahead of the curve.
Check out the category of hip-hop variants. There is over 100 of them, and a lot of them are awesome and super low print, as you said. And take a look at just the Miles Morales list of books that are worth your attention by hitting the character search and typing in Miles Morales. Comic Fam, we appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us the best job in the world.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below for an opportunity to win this fantastic John Tyler Christopher variant. Thank you so much for Godly Comics. We saved this one just for this month.
Comic Fam, thank you so much. And as always,
Geek responsibly.
Enough said. Rob Hollefeld, we're going to be sending you this Spawn 301 signed by J. Scott Campbell. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for being a member, supporting our show by liking the video. We out, baby.